This episode is brought to you by SendPro from Pitney Bowes. SendPro has 3 times the features of Stamps.com at 1/3 of the price. Visit pb.com/GFQ to learn more and try it for free for 90 days. After that, you'll get SendPro for only $5 per month. That's pb.com/GFQ. Casper, an online retailer of premium mattresses for a fraction of the price, because everyone deserves a great night's sleep. Get $50 off any mattress purchase by visiting casper.com/Andrew and enter promo code Andrew at checkout. And by Harry's. Stop messing around and get started shaving with Harry's today by claiming your free trial offer. $13 value for free, just covered the shipping by going to harrys.com/whatthetuck.
What the heck?
Hey everybody, welcome to What the Tech. I'm Andrew Aaron, and I'm joined by a returning Paul Thurrott. How you doing, Paul? Not good.
Okay.
Wow. Not pretty good.
Okay.
Not pretty good, huh?
I'm pretty good, I guess.
You are under a lot of stress. You are still moving, right?
I have moved.
You have moved. Yeah, I mean,
we have not closed on the house that I'm in, so we're kind of hoping that happens on schedule. But I think we're going to be okay.
So the house that you're living in, you haven't purchased yet.
We're basically squatting. Yes. As it turns out, being there is not 9/10 of the law, or whatever the saying is.
So you're in Pennsylvania now.
Yep.
How far are you from me? Are you closer or further?
I am closer. So let's look here. I will. Let's see. I'll say.
Yeah, I'm curious how close you are, because now we can do a whole bunch of stuff. You know, we can meet in the middle, Paul.
It's at least a couple of hours.
Okay.
It's. Let's see. I don't know what part of Queens.
Just do Queens. Do Bayside. Put in Bayside.
Bayside.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, Bayside is where I'm from. Bayside High. I went to school with Zach Morris, Kelly Kapowski, Screech.
2 hours and 24 minutes.
Okay, that's not bad at all.
Fastest route.
That's great.
Actually, it's interesting. It has me go over the. Actually, that's the George Washington.
Yeah, that's super easy. Excellent. Excellent. Well, I'm sure Paul and I are going to be doing shows together. We have so much to talk about because we haven't done a show, Paul and I, in quite some time. I had a lot of great replacement. Mary Jo Foley did a show. Brad did a show. It was a lot of fun. Again, so much to talk about today. But before we continue, I want to take a minute and talk about our great sponsor. It's SendPro from Pitney Bowes. Guys, if you are a small business like me, you know how difficult it is to start sending stuff and keeping track of how much things cost and your expenses when you start shipping items. This is a great offer that they have for you from SendPro. SendPro has 3 times the features of Stamps.com at 1/3 of the price. Visit pb.com/GFQ to learn more and try it for free for 90 days. After that, you'll get SendPro for only $5 a month, which is amazing. That's pb.com/GFQ. Some of the features here. You can print stamps on your computer, save time and money. No special equipment required. Compare shipping rates and delivery times between USPS and the other major carriers like UPS and those other guys that I'm not allowed to mention here that begin with an F and end with an X. Track your shipments easily from an easy-to-use interface. These guys are great. I actually have it here because Jess is selling everything now. Did I tell you about this, Paul?
What?
So my house, by the way, is a nightmare right now. I can't even point the camera on this side. I guarantee you, Paul, my house is in worse shape than yours right now.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I don't know. I might take that bet.
Okay, that's you know what? We should do that. We should have like a house off. It's absolutely terrible. So we're going through all our crap, and Jess has discovered that people buy stuff. Your crap is someone else's treasure, and she's selling all of our stuff.
Oh, that's smart.
She sold a chandelier that's been in my house for 25 years. It's this crappy chandelier for $50.
Yep.
And she's using SendPro to do all the rates and all the postage and all the shipping information right there. And the reason why they're so great is that it's $5 a month versus $15.99 from Stamps.com. So these guys are unbelievable. That's pb.com/GFQ. Check them out today. So, Paul, where do we begin on this adventure we call What the Tech? We have not done
the last time we talked, Microsoft was getting set to release Windows Vista, and netbooks were the big new thing.
Yeah. Lenovo's really catching up in that netbook market, huh?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Where do we begin? Let's see. I do want to talk to you. You have a very interesting premium article on Thurrott.com here, which I want to take some time to talk about. And of course, I want to talk about the Samsung Note 8, which was unveiled the other day. But I want to talk about this. You have a premium article, and guys, if you go to Thurrott.com, you can sign up and become a premium member to the website. It's very inexpensive, and you get these great articles like this one. It's called The Essentials to Buy or Not to Buy the Xbox One X. Now, pre-orders have opened up for this device, for the Xbox One X. And I've been getting bombarded with questions as to, are you getting it? Number one, me, you being me, are you getting one? Which my answer is yes, I would like to. And two, should I buy one? Meaning you. So in this article, you actually broke it down kind of. So let's.
By the way, this is Brad's article.
It's Brad's article. I'm sorry, it is Brad's article.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. Pros and cons to this.
Well, I mean, it depends on where you're at, right? I mean, obviously, an Xbox video game console is going to apply or not apply in your life, depending on if you play games or not. If you're not a gamer, there's absolutely no reason to spend $500 on a new console.
Well,
right?
I mean, it is an entertainment system as well, right?
No, but what I mean by that is the entertainment stuff that console does is also done by an Xbox One S. There are no advantages to the Xbox One X from an entertainment perspective. Okay. So if you just intend to do that stuff and maybe some lighter gaming, although the Xbox One S is honestly a full-featured, awesome high-end console itself, you could save a lot of money by getting an S rather than an X, right? Like to the tune of $250. So that'd be the first thing I would say.
Okay.
If you are a gamer and you're kind of wondering about where this kind of falls in the scheme of things, there are still some unknowns to it. I mean, Microsoft is kind of pushing this notion of 4K gaming, and I think depending on the title, the reality is it's going to be between like a steady 1080p, 60 frame a second, and then actual 4K gaming, depending on the title, depending on the part of the game you're in at the time, even.
The developer, the title, there's a lot that plays into the overall quality of this.
But every single independent evaluation of this console compared to its only competitor, which is a PlayStation 4 Pro, says the same thing. This thing is superior in every way, shape, and form. Like it is superior, period. And so if you want the best in a console, it's kind of a no-brainer from that perspective. As far as the pre-order stuff goes, those are sold out. Obviously, when November, whatever it is, I think it's November 7th, comes, you'll be able to buy one, of course. And so the only real differences between the pre-order version, which is the Project Scorpio edition, and the standard Xbox One X console are minor, right? The price is the same. There's a vertical stand that you get with the pre-order, which is something Microsoft shipped, I should say, with, I think it was the original Xbox One S. They might not put it in every box. They probably don't even put it in every box anymore, but it's like a $20 part you can buy if you want to stand the thing vertically. And then it just has some little graphical elements that indicate that it's a day one console release. Microsoft did this for the original Xbox One. Xbox One when it came out in 2003, where that thing had little logos that say day one edition on the controller and on the console itself. This version of the console, it doesn't say day one edition. It says Project Scorpio. It's on the controller. It's on the console. There's a little bit of different graphical texture thing going on the console itself. But as far as the hardware goes, and as far as even the basic look and feel of the console, actually it's the same. So if you missed out on the pre-order, it's not a disaster. It's not like actually when the Xbox One S came out, the thing that was kind of cool about that on pre-orders, you could get it with a 2 terabyte internal drive, which to me was actually very valuable. And so I bought one of those. I don't believe they even sell a version with a 2 terabyte drive anymore. And so if you want that much storage, you actually have to plug it in externally.
Is it necessary to have that much storage now?
Yeah, because these games are huge, and it's going to be an even bigger deal with the Xbox One X because a lot of those games are going to be, have 4K graphic assets, and those downloads are going to be humongous. So yeah, if you want to have more than just a handful of games on your console at any one time, you're going to want a lot of storage.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes over time.
So
but
this is interesting. So it is. I mean, the good news is for Microsoft, this thing is sold out now. How many of them did they release in pre-order?
17, 18.
Yeah, I'm that's the curious thing because they are competing with the Sony PlayStation 4 Pro with this device, and they are behind in sales with the Xbox One compared to PS4s. So I'm curious how this is going to play out for them. Do they have this advantage now with the Xbox One X?
Yeah, I don't think this is going to change the overall picture because I think the 4K consoles in the short term are going to be minor parts of the puzzle. There is some anecdotal data that even though this thing is already sold out on Amazon.com, for example, Microsoft has already sold more of these pre-release consoles than Sony has sold PlayStation 4 Pro this year. That's actually kind of incredible. So that suggests, A, that Microsoft probably did make a fair number of them, and also that it's probably doing pretty well across the board because conceivably they supplied each of the retailers that got this thing with a similar number of devices. So it probably is, in fact, doing pretty well. So I expect Microsoft to win like the 4K generation, if that makes sense. I mean, we'll see what Sony does in the future. It's possible they'll release another 4K console to one-up Microsoft, but barring that and whatever else happens, I mean, I would say right now I think they've got a lock on that, but I also think that the 4K part of it's going to be the minority segment. So, when everything's said and done, whatever the numbers are, maybe there's like, 1/10 of the consoles are 4K or something.
I'm curious,
so we'll see.
Has Microsoft put out a type of recommendation for televisions to get the most out of your Xbox One X?
Yeah. So oh no, I'm conflating things. Yeah, they probably have. So it's obviously a 4K set is ideal. It will run wonderfully on a 1080p HD TV if you have that, right? It's designed for that. If you have HDR, it will support that. Although, as you probably know, there are different kinds of HDR.
Yeah,
and I don't know.
So
yeah, I know. So I don't know which ones it supports. I think with any HDR set, you're still going to get a kind of an enhanced color palette on these games, frankly. But yes, it's obviously what you want is it to support the exact type of HDR that your set has, and I'm not actually 100% sure what that is. So
yeah, so I'm curious as to if there is a recommendation from Microsoft for the type of HDR and to get the most out of your device, because you're paying a lot of money for this, and you kind of want the best quality. If you're dishing out $500 for this thing, you might consider, well, you know what, let me put out another $500 and get the TV to kind of go along with it if you don't have a 4K TV.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things to consider is that because of the way the console market is changing with these new consoles, the new 4K consoles, there's no one thing that's an Xbox One, right? So we've actually had 3 versions of the Xbox One, and each of the subsequent versions have added some functionality. The Xbox One S added 4K for video. It added HDR for video and games. Obviously, the Xbox One X adds 4K for games, and more performance, more even existing games can be upgraded to have better graphics on this system. So if you can't afford this right now, or if you'd rather put your money into a 4K TV or whatever, like I said earlier, the Xbox One S still has everything except for 4K gaming, and so you can get into that console really inexpensively, save some money there, use that money towards the TV, enjoy all the entertainment content and so forth. The games are still going to look awesome.
Yeah.
And then somewhere down the road, the prices are going to come down. Obviously, that's what happens to electronic components over time. And there'll be new versions of the console. They'll probably come out with versions that have more storage and whatever it is. And so you could wait a year or two and then take advantage of lower prices somewhere down the line.
Yeah, so we've had 3 Xbox Ones come out so far, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Has there been a plan? So let's say I'm going to invest my $500. I'm a gamer. I want to buy this thing. I buy it. Is there a what's the next project for the Xbox? What's the next?
Well, I mean, they're not talking about that now, obviously.
But obviously they're actively pursuing it and looking in, considering some sort of thing. Is this going to be a 1.5 year release cycle for these consoles at this point?
No, I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. I think that's a little aggressive. I feel like the Xbox One S was Microsoft saying, okay, this is the one we kind of wish we could have done a couple of years ago. We've, filled out some of the functionality, some of the specs and so forth. I think going down the road for the foreseeable future, having the S on the low end, although again, it's not really a low end device, but the S on the low end, the affordable one, and then the X as the kind of extreme version, the 4K version, is a pretty good strategy for the short term. Now, over time, of course, they're going to have to, update the console again, and whether that means a new console generation or if they continue with Xbox One compatibility, which I think is probably how they're going to do it because they've seen great success with that. And of course, they have the backward compatibility stuff where it can play a lot of Xbox 360 games and then soon a lot of original Xbox games as well. So there's kind of a nice continuity to it.
By the way, Amazon has this for pre-order right now.
It sold out in 25 minutes on Amazon. So I don't know if they got some back or they got another supply of it or whatever, but as of this morning, it was sold out.
Yeah, I'm looking right now, unless, I don't know if it's updated or not, but I'll send you a link. If you're watching this, it might be too late, but it is available right now.
Okay, so they must have gotten more in, because Microsoft was saying they were going to make more.
Interesting. I'm very much interested as to seeing what the sales numbers are going to be for this thing, because it essentially has everything you want: 4K Blu-ray, 4K quality and HDR. It's faster. It's better.
Right.
It's sexier.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful console. So I'm curious as to how well these things sell in the holiday season, because that's what really matters here.
Yeah.
We can talk pre-orders all we want, but if people can't buy it or people are not buying it, then it's not going to be good for them. But they've always done well with this. It's amazing for a company that had such a not cool vibe when the Xbox came out, the original Xbox. They've always consistently done this the right way, except for, the Red Ring of Death thing. But, that was an anomaly in this case. But they've always done the Xbox properly.
Right.
It's interesting how you could have two very different philosophies as far as the company goes between the Xbox and everything else.
Yeah, for many years, Xbox was almost run like a separate company. In fact, I know there was a time back, this is Steve Ballmer time frame, and maybe even the beginning of Satya Nadella, where they were considering spinning off Xbox. Yeah. And then, they clearly decided that this brand was important to Microsoft and let's bring it in. And what they've really done is kind of folded it in. And so now what you see is a lot of integration work occurring between Xbox and Windows, which is kind of cool. And so you've got cross-play capabilities that are happening in games like Minecraft, and the ability to play and buy a game that when you buy it on one platform, it runs on the other as well, and you can switch back and forth, and that's kind of cool.
When can I run Office on the Xbox?
on the Xbox, yeah.
Yeah, on the Xbox One X.
Sure.
I want to run Office. I want the full suite.
Right.
But you know what? Well, they can. Right? They could.
Yeah.
I would love to see a kid is sitting there on his Xbox. Mother comes in. What are you doing? I'm doing my homework. Typing up a word.
Yeah, just what you need is like a button press that will switch it to that screen like we used to do on PCs back in the day.
Yeah. I'm very much interested in this. So I know a lot of people are excited. If you are interested, the pre-order is available right now if you listen live. If not, then I'm sure by the time that this is released later this evening, there will be no pre-order. I'm sure it'll be sold
like
out
I said, on Sunday or Monday or whatever day it was, that Tuesday, whatever this was. I'm so lost because of all the move stuff. Whatever day that was. Supposedly, according to Microsoft, this thing sold out in 25 minutes on Amazon.com.
They couldn't. The SNES Classic sold out in 12 minutes. So,
yep. Well, this is a slightly more expensive device.
Slightly, just a little bit.
But I checked this morning and it was sold out everywhere. So this is new over the past couple of hours.
Yeah, very cool. Guys, I'm really enjoying this conversation with Paul here because I missed him. I haven't seen him. I haven't heard from him. Jessica spoke to you. My wife is actually traveling right now, so
I saw. So she's in London, or she got to London anyway.
Yeah, she's in London, and she got yelled at by the cops because she got on top of that lion, and she did high tea. And I think our hotel is overlooking right across the water, looking at Big Ben and the Eye.
Now silent Big Ben.
Silent Big Ben, yeah.
Yeah, he just missed it.
He's just big. He's not loud. Guys, let's take a moment to talk about our great friends and our sponsor, and that's Harry's. I've been talking about this for some time, and every time I talk about Harry's, I have this box. I have 4 of these sitting here because I give these out to almost everybody that I know, and it's never in reach. So I actually brought it over when Paul was talking to show you what's in this amazing shaving set. They have a great offer for you guys, and if you have not experienced a Harry's razor, do yourself a favor. Go and sign up. You get a free trial set. All you have to do is pay the shipping. It includes the razor handle, the 5-blade cartridge, the shaving gel, and this beautiful packaging, actually. Great for a gift for anybody. And I'm going to open this up on the air with you guys. Do something a little different here. And I'll show you guys. Look how beautiful this comes. And I drop it. But look how beautiful this is. All right? This is impressive. You give this as a gift to somebody. You know, I got a bunch of shaving stuff. This is so funny because I always talk about Harry's. My family has decided that I'm really into shaving stuff, which I'm really like. I don't do like beard maintenance. Like I don't have that much of a beard, so I get all these like shaving things, and I get this beard gel, and I get razors from them, and I finally told them to stop because when you compare it to a Harry's razor, it's not even comparable. The packaging is not comparable. This looks like a nice, expensive gift. It's expensive as far as quality goes. It's the highest quality you could get, but it is very affordable. Their shaving sets, and you could try it for free when you sign up for the trial set. All you'd have to do is pay for the shipping. Go to harrys.com/whattotech. Paul, next time you come, I'll give you one of these. I know you have like a whole bunch, but I'll give you one. Thank you, Harry, for supporting the show. You also have another article on Thurrott.com, and this is something that we've discussed for a while, and that's Android on Chromebooks from fantasy to reality. Now, this is your article.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, so I read the article, and I got very excited. I got very excited that this is happening. And I looked at, and I looked up my Chromebook, it was like a flagship Chromebook at the time. I mean,
which one do you have?
I have the 14, the Chromebook 14.
From who? Which company?
Acer.
Acer. Yep, that's a great one. Acer or Acer. Acer makes a 14-inch Chromebook, which is great.
Chromebook 14, the CB3 431.
So, by the way, I believe it was just added to the beta channel.
Was it? Because on their website it says planned.
Okay, I swear I saw that. Maybe I'm confusing it with the Acer, like the 13-inch version.
Oh, for work. The 14-inch version for work, which is
that's the one I have, by the way.
Okay, what is the difference between the work one and the regular one?
Just a couple of things. I think they have more configuration options as far as what processor, RAM, storage you can have. It's kind of a nicer box that it's in. Like it's got Gorilla Glass actually on the outside of it, and what they allow companies to do is put their logo underneath the glass on the outside of the laptop lid, so you can see it when it's open. Which I didn't do, but you can do that. So it's basically the same computer inside, but they give you more configuration options, and it's also part of the I think it's called Chrome for Work program. If you want to do that, if you're a small business and want to manage it. So
unfortunately for me, I don't have it yet. They haven't added me.
I thought you just got it.
I mean, unless their list is outdated, the Chromium project, chromium.org.
Yeah.
Very upsetting to me that it's still not. But I guess this is still a reality. They are still moving forward with this.
Yeah, it's escalated finally.
Well, you know why? Do you think this has something to do with Windows on ARM?
Maybe.
These guys are dilly-dallying a little bit too much with this.
Yeah, I see. I'm looking at your thing. Yeah, you're right. It's still planned. That's too bad.
Yeah.
So the R13 is available now. And okay. Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
And you know what's crazy? The only reason why I bought this 14 one is because it was recommended by everybody as the one to get.
That's actually one of the best Chromebooks you can get. In fact, one of the things I really like about it is just the screen size. It's a nice
It's
computer.
A great size, yeah.
Yeah. So the one you have and the one I have are basically the same computer with slightly different shells or whatever and some other stuff, but very similar experience. Yeah.
So what do we know? When are they going to start getting active about this? Is this something that's happening right now?
Well, I think they're getting active about it now. I think that's the point. Like what's happening is there's been a bunch of dead space going on here where they originally said we're going to get this done by the end of 2016. And then they were really quiet about it when it never happened.
But there was a reason, right? There was a problem with this.
Yeah, it was a lot more technically difficult than they thought it was going to be. Basically, it's kind of some of the issues are very similar to what Microsoft is seeing with Windows 10, where you are trying to modernize this system, but you have to account for like two things that are at odds with each other, which in Microsoft's case is legacy applications, many of which were written to a specific screen size, like just pixel density, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then these high DPI displays we see on Surface devices and other PCs where, the UI on these things looks like really tiny. And like, how do you scale these things when they weren't designed to be scaled? And so in Chromebook's case, what you're seeing is Android apps that were written for specific screen sizes and aspect ratios. There are a lot of Android apps that were just written for phones. And so how do you take that thing that has like a little portrait display and scale it up to a giant landscape display and have it not look like crap? The answer is actually you don't. Because all it's going to do is stretch it out.
Well, I mean, look at Apple, right? Look at the issues they had on iOS when the iPad initially came out, and then the Retina iPad came out. They had to force developers.
But Apple's done a great job actually of managing that, and so as they've changed or added resolutions, aspect ratios, screen sizes, or whatever, they've always been very. They have a select group of devices. It's getting very varied for sure, but they can go to developers and say, look, here's how you support this stuff. We've written stuff into the OS to help you make this happen. On Android, it's more complicated because the vast majority of the devices are phones, and Android tablets are terrible. And so a lot of developers are just saying, look, we're not really supporting this at all. And if you want to run our app on a tablet, you're going to have to run it blown up, and we don't really care.
Yeah.
And so it's, they're trying to work with the developer community to make this happen.
So, here's the fascinating thing. Okay, let's talk about the developers for Android compared to developers for iOS. Obviously, there's more money in iOS to develop for.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Right. I mean, that was, unless someone correct me if I'm wrong, because I know that was true maybe 2 years ago. I don't know.
No, I think I don't know where we're at money wise, right? Like Apple oranges or whatever. But the size of the Android user base is so much bigger than the size of the iOS user base that I bet they're close. And I bet if it hasn't already happened, such things as the Google Play Store is making more money than the App Store, or however you want to say it. Like
I would love to see that number. I seriously would love to see that number.
I think that's already happening. Like if that hasn't literally happened, it is happening. So for that to work, Android has to have way more users than iOS, because iOS users, on average, spend a lot more money than Android users, right? They're used to spending a lot of money. That's part of the deal when you're in the Apple ecosystem. You're either rich or you act like you're rich.
Yeah.
Just buy on average, and iPhone users spend a lot more money on apps and content, their phones, whatever, than Android users do. And that's the nature of that business. Apple market is pretty small by comparison, and it tends to be more affluent people and so forth. The Android market is the entire planet. And so it's the gamut of all of the people on Earth, from people who live in the middle of nowhere in some continent that doesn't even have good internet access, and this is their only computing device, to people who are driving around in Lamborghinis or whatever. So it serves that entire span, just like Windows did.
I don't, I'm... that
was the exact right sound.
No, wait. You know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because I don't want to say what I was about to say, because then I get the "you hate Android" stuff.
Yep.
I have gone over to the iOS side, guys, and I had swore to myself that I won't let this happen. And
okay, but if you haven't done it, there's an article in the New York Times. It's called something like "Dear iPhone, here's why I've stuck with you for 10 years." And Brian X. Chan, I think the guy's name is, laid out 7 or 8 different points. Like, this is why iOS or iPhone in particular has been so successful and so good over the years. And it's all super valid. But the interesting thing about what you just said is that on the flip side, I have begun using Android a lot more than I used to. And I got to say, at this point in time, iOS 11 versus Android 7, it's kind of a toss-up. I mean, a lot of it is based on the device you're using. In my case, the camera obviously is very important. I always kind of harp on that. Me.
Yeah.
But as far as like the day-to-day usage stuff, I mean,
what device are you using right now, day-to-day?
I use an iPhone. An iPhone is my primary phone. It's what I have on AT&T.
But for Android, what are you using?
The Pixel XL.
So you have not gone over to the Galaxy S8?
No. So remember, I bought it back whenever it first came out. They ended up returning it. There are phones I would consider right now. My wife just bought a Galaxy S8, by the way. So an S8 Plus. So she looked and saw what the Note was going to be, and she said, "That's fine. The S8 Plus is big enough.
Yeah.
I don't ever use the stylus. I'll just get that. And she went and looked at it. And, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful phone. So I think I will upgrade this phone this year. What I'm going to do is wait to see what the new Pixel is, and then I'll compare it to the Samsung, maybe the Note, and maybe the OnePlus 5. We'll see what's going on with that. And then, I really, for my purposes, I want a pure Android phone, and that makes me tilt toward the Pixel, obviously.
Yeah.
But the Galaxy phones are beautiful.
So
really
I have an
nice.
S7, and it was a great phone. And then until it's just stopped being a great phone, and I've had it for a year. And Paul, when I tell you, I
know.
listen, I am not a heavy phone user, right? Like I'm a little old school for my own good with the way that I function. I do, for my job, I do a lot of the digital marketing. I'm a director of digital marketing for this company that I work for, and which started off as a consultant, and now I'm there all the time. Is that how it works, Paul?
Sure.
Now I have like a real job, like a real boy, and I take the train
Yeah,
into
you're like
the
a
city.
tick. You got into the thing, and then
Yeah.
they're not going to get rid of
My
you.
boss, my poor boss. So, I got a package here. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. So when you when I use my phone, I'm literally not doing anything that a power user would use it for. I don't even do emailing on this. Like, I hate to type an email. I would rather send you an email, say, once I get into the office, I'll send you, if it's like a detail thing. So the way that even like Instagram and stuff like that, I have special tools that I purchase, software that I purchase to get stuff done the way that I want it done. So it's not even like my usage. On my Android phone, I really don't have too many apps. I had the Long Island Railroad and the Subway app and, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. That's it. I don't, Snapchat maybe.
So, but given this,
Yeah.
Why would iPhone be what's the difference?
Okay. So
to me, those things, they both do the same
this is what's
thing.
happened. In the 1 year, well, I've had this for about 6 months now, but my wife has had, an iPhone, and I've been using an iPhone for a while. In a 1 year, if I were to compare both of them into usage, the S7, I've had to do a factory reset on it twice. I have to clear the Delvik cache. I have to go into recovery mode and wipe it out again. Applications start running slow. The load time takes forever. So again, this has been my consistent issue with using Android long term. And I'm not the only one. Listen, I know there are people. By the way, I have an S6 here. I have an S6 here. This phone has been phenomenal. The S6 has been great for me. I don't know why. This phone just worked really well. But this is the issue. Consistency falls apart when you're using that platform, depending from device to device. At least with iOS, your experience is going to be
well, by the way,
similar.
This is the pure Android thing. I mean, honestly, consistency doesn't fall apart on a Pixel.
Yeah, but
right?
what happens? But what happens when you go over to another platform? Let's say you got the Pixel now, but what happens if you go to an a pure Android?
Well, no,
whatever?
I probably won't. I mean, the truth is, I will probably stick with the Pixel. I mean, there are Motorola devices that have a basically pure Android install. Like, I feel really strongly about this. It's kind of like the signature PC thing on Windows. Like, these things are screwed up enough already. Like, why would I want some other company adding complexity and potential unreliability to this platform? Like, I don't want that. I don't know. I understand. Look, I'm not surprised.
I have more fun using an Android device. By the way, let me just say this. I personally, if I were to say what my preference would be as someone that likes to tinker and someone that likes to modify stuff, I like Android for that case. I feel like I have more control over Android and the way that I want to use it. But the issue is I can't have a phone lock up on me regularly when I'm making a phone call.
Well, okay, so I don't know
what
you're having that experience, but yes, look, like I said, I'm not surprised an Android user like actually begrudgingly at first, and then the love affair starts. Use an iPhone. Like, holy crap! Like, this thing just works. Like, yeah, I've had this. I do replace my iPhone every year, but I bought this iPhone 7 Plus on the day it came out. I've never reset it. I've run various beta versions of the OS on it, not just the major one that's coming out now, but over the course of the year they release these minor upgrades like 10.2, 10.3, whatever. I've never had any problems. Not problems enough to cause me to reset it. The Pixel device, I've actually reset several times, right? I've certainly experienced issues there. Now, I screw around with, pre-release versions of Android. I do that kind of stuff too. And so, yeah, I see that kind of thing. But I don't know. I mean, most of the people that I know, let me think about that as I say it, like most of my friends, let's say, family even, not direct family, my kids have iPhones, but most people around me actually use Android phones. And those people are normal people. Like, they're able to handle this. And I don't know if it was like years of training with the stupidity of Windows and they're just used to this kind of stuff. But, even my wife, like, she held on to her Note 4 for way longer than she should have. And I've argued with her over this. And I've said, I don't understand why you don't just get a new phone. And she says, I don't want to spend $500 or more on a new phone. This thing does sort of work. And I'm like, that's the problem. It sort of works. And it will fail in ways that you don't understand that it's happening, where I'm trying to call her and she doesn't answer. And then she goes to do something on her phone and it's frozen. So she resets it. And that's why she missed my call, But that's a really old phone.
Yeah. Listen, really. It happens. I get it. So my bottom line is, listen, I know iOS has problems. I'm going to hear it. I'm going to hear people say, I hate my phone. I'm not in love with the phone.
I iOS has problems, to be honest.
You know what? For me, I haven't had these problems. The battery life is way better than any Android device that I've ever used. And bottom line, I don't.
Yeah, no, they get.
Paul, you remember? Right. Okay, so you remember? I walked around with those stupid bricks. I used
to say to you, "What the hell are you doing? You're holding on to, like, you're bringing two devices." Like,
I haven't done that. I haven't done that since having this phone. It gets me through the day plus some more.
I get it. So here's the thing, especially for people listening to this kind of show. You and I personally as well. There is a dulling sameness to the iPhone. There is a, let's call it a Toyota Corolla effect.
Yeah.
Where, like, this thing's always going to work. It's going to start every single day. It's going to work consistently. It's going to be great. It's on the bland side, maybe. It's not exciting. It's not a sport car. My falling out with the iPhone started when this new version, the phone is not, the camera's not as good as the last version, and it's not as good as any of the Android devices I've been using. That's a problem for me, and it's one of the things that's pulled me back to the Pixel.
So I spent some time with the S8 because I'm getting an S8 at this point.
Yep.
I'm just delaying it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure by the time I get the S8, the S9 will be like rumored,
Mm-hmm.
But the S8 has probably the best camera on the market right now, right? Like a great.
It's in the top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I will point out, by the way, we don't know how it's going to rate, but
S8 Plus, the big one.
Yeah, no, but I mean the Note 8 now has a dual camera, whereas the S8 and S8 Plus only have a single camera.
Okay,
and
so why don't we'll go into that. I want to talk about that with you. Also, I want to talk about Hulu TV. I saw that there was a post on your website about Hulu TV, and I experienced it, and I actually canceled my Hulu TV.
Yep,
so I want to talk about that.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, I want to talk about that and more. But before we do, here we go, boys and girls. I want to take a moment to talk about Casper. Paul needs a Casper mattress. Paul, talk to Casper.
I literally do.
Talk to Casper. Go ahead.
I needed a Casper mattress. I need 2 Casper mattresses.
So, Casper, if you're listening, Paul needs 2 Casper mattresses. Actually, I emailed them, and I'm hoping to hear back, and I'm sure that they do something. So I'm going to tell you guys, I'm not going to read a copy here. I'm going to tell you a story about a real boy, about a puppet that wants to become a real boy one day. Nice. No, I want to tell you a story about, I had a relative staying at my house the other day, and, something happened, and they just wanted to, like, nap. And we're redoing the guest room, and we don't have a Casper. I said, just go to my room, and I'm not home. Just go lay down for a little bit. I got a call saying, "What is that mattress? What kind of mattress do you have?" I said, "It's a Casper." They go, "Well, it's unbelievable. How much is it?" And I told them the price and everything. They were blown away by it. And I went to the Casper website, and guess what? They have 2 separate mattresses now. They have a different mattress called the Casper Wave. I don't know if they want me to talk about this, but they have 2 mattresses now. They have the Casper and the Casper Wave, which is brand new. They also have adjustable base for the mattress. If you could adjust it so you could, sit up. They have sheets. They got pillows. They got dog beds. It's unbelievable how this company has grown. And here's a great offer for you guys. Since they've been so loyal to us and you guys have been purchasing these things, You can save an additional $50 towards your mattress purchase by going to Casper.com/Andrew and entering the promo code Andrew. I can't speak highly I can't speak highly enough. There we go.
Any more highly
about Casper and their unbelievable product line. Something that I did not know is that you could actually wash the, so you have a Casper, right? There's like the bedding cover.
Yes.
Okay. So you could wash that and you just unzip it. It was the easiest process ever. It looks like a brand new mattress now. It's actually great. Casper.com/Andrew. Guys, go check them out and check out this new mattress that they have. I know that they may not want me to talk about this, but I really want you to go and check out their new mattress because I'm very interested in this and I would like to do a review of this mattress. And I think I'm going to be doing a review of the new Casper mattress for you guys. Maybe, Paul, maybe you should wait. When do you need this mattress by? It's new mattress.
Tonight?
Well,
no,
you may be sleeping on the floor.
Immediately. And then mine, we can wait. We have a mattress, but it's just terrible.
Yeah.
And
is that what you're looking to replace?
What's that?
Is that what you're looking to replace, your mattress?
Yeah.
Cool. Casper.com/Andrew. Thank you, Casper, for supporting the show. Let's talk about this Note 8.
Okay.
Tell me all about it, Paul.
Well, first, you should do this. There is a website that rates the cameras in smartphones.
Okay.
And it is, I don't know if this is the way you say this, but it's dxomark.com. So if you go there.
Yes, I'm there.
And then /mobiles with an S.
/mobiles?
Mobiles, like
Okay.
mobile phones, but just mobiles.
Okay, I'm there.
And then on the right, you'll see the highest rated cameras.
Yes, the HTC U11 and the Pixel.
Teeth are on the Pixel, but see, the Pixel is the one I've been using for the past year, especially when I travel internationally, and so the pictures I've been taking are fantastic. But the Galaxy S8 is very close. But if you keep scrolling down the list, one thing you'll notice is that the Apple iPhone 7, there are 12 Android phones that have better cameras than that.
So where's the iPhone 7 Plus? That's the iPhone.
They don't rate that one separately, so which is goofy, which is because it really does have a different camera.
Yeah.
In my experience, the iPhone 7 Plus has a worse camera than the 6S Plus.
I would probably agree with you on that. I'm not a big fan of the
I can't believe
camera.
how terrible it is. Like, it really bothers me.
Yeah. Wow. I'm looking at the HTC U11. They have a great comparison between that, the Pixel, and the Galaxy S8. And my God, you can see the difference.
So it's going to be very interesting to see where the Note 8 comes in, because the Note 8 is a slightly bigger version of the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. As far as the cameras go, you probably know this. The Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus they're exactly the same. I think. I'm pretty sure they are. And the Pixel and the Pixel XL are exactly the same. When you move up to the Note 8, right, slightly bigger screen, slightly bigger device, same aspect ratio, which is I think 21:9, if I'm not mistaken.
What for the Note 8? It's 18:5:9.
18.5:9.
Yeah.
Same resolution, right? And so actually the Note 8 has a slightly like lower pixel density than the S8 Plus, just because the screen's a little bit bigger, but it's, gorgeous, obviously. Same infinity display, same rounded edges, all that kind of thing. The things that stick out to me, obviously the Note 8, maybe not obviously, but the Note 8 comes with an S Pen. It's been improved, better pressure sensitivity, better accuracy, et cetera, et cetera. If that kind of thing's important to you, using a tiny stylus with a phone to me is stupid, but whatever. I'm sure some people do. But the other thing is the camera. But the big thing is the camera.
Yeah, I'm on the Galaxy. I'm on the Samsung website. Obviously, we don't have any real world images yet of this thing.
Exactly.
We have just whatever they're talking about.
We need people to review this thing. We need these guys to review the camera, because if it works, if it worked out that this camera was significantly better than any other camera, including the next Pixel, I mean, maybe that would put it over the top for me, just to get the camera. So that's really important.
I'm looking here, right? For the bokeh effect. This is actually done exactly the way that it should be done, where you could adjust the background blur.
So, by the way, I think when Apple came out with portrait mode in the iPhone 7 Plus, because they had the dual cameras, I think this is what they were shooting for. But really what they've created is this artificial thing where it just doesn't do good edge detection. And so
Yeah.
this is not a great example. There's this kind of bland wall behind me, and that the weird splotching. Well, I guess it's over here. The splotching effect you see is actually a light reflection through some plants. But
Yeah, I have a splotching effect on my shirt that I just realized, and it's because my daughter spilled coffee all over me.
Yeah, I have a splotching effect on my skin because I'm dying because I'm so stressed. But if you were to take a picture of me against, let's pretend there was something better behind me, like trees and stuff in the background, any modern smartphone camera could probably do a good job with the bokeh. Just, you focus on the person and it will kind of blur the background naturally, and it's kind of nice. Now, obviously what Apple was shooting for was what you're talking about, the ability to adjust that effect.
Yeah.
Programmatically post picture, after you take it. It doesn't do a good job. So with me, what you would see is like maybe part of my head, or you can see the headphones because there's like this little bit of light shining through. You would get no bokeh inside where the light should
totally
be
fall apart. Yeah.
You get no bokeh through this, but a normal camera would do that because it's actually photographing the scene. Apple is doing like math, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work well. It doesn't mean that you can't take a good picture with it. Obviously, there are beautiful pictures that were taken with it. The problem is normal people click and then like, oh, why does it look blurry and why is the edge all screwed up? It's because Apple.
So a couple of things here. Number one, it's extremely disappointing going from my Samsung S7, which it has a decent camera, not as good as obviously what the Note 8 will have.
Actually, if you look at the list, it's pretty high on the list.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent camera. But regardless of just the point and click thing, which 99% of people that take a photo just they want to take the phone out and click and take a photo, it has so much I guess I would call it like pro mode. You could do the white balance, you could do the saturation, it has food mode, it has HDR, it has this, so you have all these settings. And on iOS, it's actually very disappointing for a device that has such a great camera. And they kind of with the last iPhone, they've pushed this. They've been pushing this camera to everybody in all their ads. You could take these pro style photos. There's zero pro functionality with this device.
Yeah, and normal people are not going to achieve those results, and that's actually my problem. Look, I sort of appreciate that there are pros out there who are going to use a smartphone. And they're going to take amazing photos, and they're going to be able to do that white balance adjustment and do all that stuff on screen with whatever phone they're using. I think to me the important thing is you pull the thing, something's happening, you want to take a picture of it, you turn, you like click, and you get it. And on the iPhone, you're not going to get it a lot of the time because it's a lousy camera. One of the things I really like on the Pixel, I'm not sure how the Galaxy S8 handles this or the Note, but by default, and I leave this on, it has like an auto HDR feature, and the phone decides how much HDR to apply. And I think you do an awesome job. Apple will turn on HDR if it thinks it's warranted based on the light or whatever, but I can't just leave it on. Like if you switched, I want HDR on, like I just want HDR on. You can't leave it in that mode. It won't do it. It will always revert back to its normal setting. And I find it to be very frustrating. Like the camera by default takes very washed out photos compared to the Galaxy S8, compared to the Pixel. The phones I've used a lot this year for photos. I just find that to be disappointing. So the Note 8, I think, we'll see, right? Because obviously real world is different from specs. But the Note 8 has dual cameras. So, and I don't know off the top of my head, they usually do one is a widescreen and one is a telephoto. I think it's basically amounts to like a 2x optical zoom kind of a thing, which is actually very useful. One of the things I do like about the iPhone 7 Plus is it has a 2x mode.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you're using one of the cameras, but it's an optical zoom. It's not a lot of zoom, but sometimes it's just enough. And I think this is the future of photography and phones, is getting that optical zoom bumped up a bit. But you do get that kind of an effect on the Note 8, apparently. I think that's important. But just, dual camera, and we'll see how Samsung handles it. But their cameras on high-end Galaxy devices have tended to be very, very good. 6, 7, 8, and now the Notes. So I have pretty high expectations. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so this is...
It looks like it might be pretty...
It does look pretty good. I'm very curious as to how it does in real mode testing, obviously. But I know that a lot of this stuff with like pro mode, it says like pro mode, it says food mode. These are stuff that has been in the Samsung Galaxy lineup for a while, and it's very convenient to use, especially if you are taking a picture. Like the food mode, all it does is just bump up the saturation a little bit. the color changes a little bit, which is kind of necessary.
Yeah,
You
like
get a nice photo.
the yellow of a banana should be yellow,
Yeah.
whereas the yellow of your skin should maybe be a little more beige.
Yeah,
or whatever, like a normal
exactly.
skin tone.
It's actually interesting. It actually does something else to this in camera. I'm looking at this. It's not an even comparison. Interesting. I'm curious about this. So let's talk about the price. $800?
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I think it might be $900.
$900? Okay.
It's expensive.
A lot of people were very upset over the pricing.
We are obviously in brave new world territory when it comes to smartphone pricing, and Apple is rumored to be coming out with a phone that's going to cost $1,000, and that wouldn't surprise me.
I'm very shocked about this because I saw there was an uproar about the pricing. People were very upset. And by the way, $900 is a lot of money for a phone, right? We all know this. But how much is the iPhone? If I were to get the iPhone 7 Plus with 128 gigs of storage, how much would that cost me?
The what with what?
An iPhone 7 Plus with 128 gigs.
I'd have to look it up, but I mean, I think that's the one I have. It's probably $849. I want to say off the top of my head.
Pretty close in pricing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, Apple invented this. This is a true Apple innovation. Get people to spend an unbelievable amount of money on a device. Although, to be fair to Apple, I mean, I don't remember where I read this, but someone was talking about this pricing escalation, and they said, look, these are super personal devices that we use every single day, and people can justify the price because that's what they're doing with it. We talked briefly about Chromebooks or whatever. If you think about the cost of a computer and how much most people actually use those devices compared to, say, a phone that's in your pocket all the time, you go to bed with it. You're always looking at it. How many times have you been in a restaurant and there's been a couple or a group of people at a table and they're all looking at their own phones? They're not even talking to each other. And so, given that reality, you can kind of make the case that okay, they're expensive, but people are using this thing
every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where we're going to end up in the pricing for these devices. Here's the reality: most people don't even know. Most people don't even know how much their phone is because they're paying $39 a month or whatever Verizon or AT&T is charging for the monthly fee.
Right. So
reality is most people don't even care. They just pay the monthly fee, and they think I find that concept really interesting because I was not really for buying phones outright, but my last two phones just paid cash, just bought the phone. Yeah. That's how I did it. So I don't know.
My wife did that with the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. The thing that put it over the top for her was Costco had some kind of a deal where it basically amounted to this phone that I think would have been $850 because they only offer one configuration. It's 64 gigs. It is expandable. Yeah. They have different colors or whatever, but it basically amounted to she was paying $500 for the phone, and she got a bunch of additional little gadgety things, for docking and car charging, blah blah whatever. But she didn't really pay $500. She probably paid $850 or whatever it was. But she got $350 worth of, you can spend this money at Costco, which we do,
which you do
every month.
Yeah.
No problem. It's free money. So that for her was what put that over the top. But actually, I'm sorry, she didn't pay for it outright. She added it to her bill. So she added it to a bill. She's paying for it per month on a 2-year thing. So it's probably $30
so here we go.
$35.
iPhone 7 Plus fully loaded is $970. So $1,000. $970 fully loaded, which makes sense because my wife went and just bought one outright and spent about that much. So listen, these things are super expensive, and it's crazy if you think about it, because most people are changing these things out every 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
Think about that. Thing, right? Think about that.
So I don't know why I keep referencing the New York Times, but there was also an article in the New York Times.
God, what a shill you are for the New York Times.
I know. I have huge problems with the New York Times, but the New York Times bought this site called the Wirecutters or whatever, which is great. Like, those guys are great. And they're emerging as sort of a new Consumer Reports kind of thing for high tech stuff, and so I really like their stuff, and I like their advice, and I think they're credible and good. But the Q&A was about does it make sense to lease a smartphone? And for people who always want to have the next nice thing, Apple has the iPhone upgrade program, and you pay on a 2-year slot. And so I don't remember what my payment is somewhere between $30 and $40 a month or something for the high-end iPhone that I hate so much.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is 1 year into this,
you could
when the iPhone 8 comes out, I can come into the store or whatever and say, yeah, now I want that one.
Yeah.
Now my price might change, but it extends my contract out another 2 years. I get that. But it does give you that kind of option. And it also, would solve a problem that you have, which is that these not iPhones necessarily, but like an Android phone, if you could do this with Samsung or whatever, if those things slow down and get terrible over time,
swap it out.
You could replace it every year.
Yeah.
That kind of helps. It doesn't. I know it doesn't solve the problem, but effectively for you, it solves the problem.
Yeah. So I know that Samsung was coming up with one, and I think AT&T was the only one participating in this program through Samsung. I know. I don't see. This is why, and Apple is the master at communicating when it comes to these kind of things, right?
Yep.
I should know as a Samsung owner if I qualify, if my monthly fee qualifies for a yearly upgrade. They don't. Most companies, Microsoft is also very guilty of terrible communication when it comes to upgrades and features and things like that, as to why they do certain things. But Apple's pretty decent when it comes to that. They've kind of mastered the game when it comes to communication as to this is what you're getting and this is how much you're paying and this is why. It may be out of control, the price, but they do a very good job at explaining it to you. My wife has that now, right? Even though she bought it flat outright, she got the Apple Care, and the Apple Care covers that. So every year she qualifies for an upgrade because she got the Apple Care, which is great. Every year just go and you swap your phone out and you get a new one and pay the difference, whatever the difference would be.
You can go up or down. I mean, next year I may say, I want to get an iPhone 7 or whatever we're calling it, an iPhone 7S, not the Plus, right? So if I were to do that, my monthly payments would actually go down,
Yeah. So very interesting. Let's quickly talk about Hulu TV. Have you been playing around with this?
No. So far I've looked at PlayStation View and I've looked at YouTube TV. They're really interesting, and I will look at Hulu TV. I'm going to look at it. I haven't written this article yet. I almost kind of don't want to discuss it in a way because it will just ruin the effect of it. But the one thing I've kind of learned, and you probably have seen this as well in using any of these services, is that I'm trying to get rid of cable TV. So at the new house here, I don't actually have cable TV. So I'm thinking, well, I'll get one of these services, and if I can access it through like an Apple TV or Chromecast or Android TV, whatever, it doesn't matter. Maybe this will be interesting, and maybe this is something we could use, and it would work, and whatever. And the UIs they're pretty good, and I kind of like some of the stuff they do. Each of them does something a little bit better than the other. They have different channel selections and so forth, different layouts for the guide and whatever. But honestly, like my key takeaway from this stuff is, what this is teaching me is that I do not need TV. Like not 100%, but I kind of.
Dude, I feel the same. I feel the same.
I don't need it. I just don't need it.
I'm at the point where less and less I'm actually watching live television. Yeah. And honestly, the only thing that I watch live TV for, I would have said the news because that was a major part of like my morning process. I can't even watch the news anymore.
Oh,
I can't. I'm over all of it. I can't. I don't even want to because I get aggravated by. I was just discussing.
Everything. So we, as part of our move, we stayed with a friend in Dedham before we came here, and then as we've been coming out here, we've stayed with my sister and her family. And of course, well, not of course, but in both places, what we've noticed is that these guys turn on the news in the morning.
Yeah.
And so these are newscasts that are in completely different cities and different parts of the country.
Yeah, and they're all dopes.
And yet they are generically exactly the same.
And they're all dopes.
And I know a little bit about the Boston stuff because I grew up in the Boston area and I recognize some of the people. But what has happened is news has turned into generic entertainment vehicle in the morning.
Yeah.
And they have the same segments, the same stupid banter between the mostly young newscasters and the one old guy who's been there since the 80s.
Yeah.
And they all kind of gather together and they stand there and they jocularly, kind of joke around together and everything. And then they hand it over to the meteorologist, who's really just some kind of a bimbo that talks about the weather or whatever.
Yeah.
And it is the dumbest, like most content free. The other thing is like, like I don't actually watch the news normally because it just infuriates me. But I, like 2 days in a row at my friend's house because he has it on as part of the here's what your morning commute looks like. Bob is up in the helicopter talking about whatever it is. The guy goes,
the traffic on 492 is bumper to bumper gridlock alert for the city.
Both days in different locations, of course, there was a car overturned.
Okay.
And that car that overturned was causing a traffic jam, right?
Yeah.
As it would, because
Sure.
if you're driving down the street and you see a car that's upside down, you're gonna slow down and look at that thing.
Yeah.
But this was communicated in such a nonchalant fashion.
Yeah. There's a car on fire
that it's
upside
like,
down. The
we
lady's
got
head
a
is
car overturned on Route 93 South at the Route 5 split, and then they show a picture of the car. It's upside down, and then and over at Route 128, we're seeing and I'm like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
There's like a car that's upside down. Is that person okay?
Yeah.
Like,
Zoom in a little,
why
man.
is that? Is this happen every day? Like, is this today's car overturn? Is it happening in Kingston, Rhode Island?
It happens so often that there's like a sponsored segment,
Yes, right.
And today's
Like
overturned car is brought to you by
Progressive Insurance presents today's car overturn. We've got you covered.
Yeah. So
they'll be fine. He's got Progressive Insurance.
So I used to turn on the news. Now I'm done. Right. So live sports. That's the only thing. And the reality is the Mets are doing the Mets did so shitty this year that it was. I went to like 30 games this year. I went to the most games ever that I've ever gone to for the Mets. So at this point, I just decided if I want to watch the Mets, I just go and watch them.
Yeah.
So it's 7 minutes. I get on a 7-minute train ride. I go to Citi Field and I come back depressed and bloated and drunk. So for me,
all right. So I'm not going to be able to.
All I'm watching now, seriously, all I do is I come home, I go on my computer, I read the news, whatever news outlet I want reading. I go to Reddit, I go to Facebook, and I look at what all my terrible friends are up to. I go on Twitter and I argue with someone. Then I put on reruns of The Office on Hulu, on Netflix, sorry, and I watch that till I fall asleep. Why am I paying $180 a month for cable?
So I look.
You know why? Because of the New York Giants.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I want to watch football.
That's too bad. So, live sports is a thing. So that's something I need to rectify. I feel like I could fix that with like an over-the-air HD antenna, and that's something I might.
Yeah, what are you gonna watch? Eagles games all day long?
That's the problem. So. YouTube TV. Of course, I sign up here in the technically the Philadelphia area, even though I'm like 90 minutes from Philadelphia or whatever, an hour and 15 minutes, whatever it is. The banner that goes across the top of YouTube TV for me on the mobile app is like, select the teams you want to watch, and I swear to God, it's like New York teams, Philadelphia teams, and I'm like, no,
Boston. No Boston.
Well, of course not. It's all, of course not, because I get local for where I am.
So if you have, I have YouTube TV, but unfortunately you can't watch it on, you can't watch YouTube TV like on an app. Like there's no YouTube TV app, or there's no portion of YouTube TV. On what? On Chromecast?
iOS.
But not on Apple TV.
But you can cast it to Apple TV.
Yeah, I guess
with
so.
AirPlay.
Yeah, I guess.
No, I hear you. Like it's got to be there. That's one of the things. There's kind of a matrix of things you have to look at if you're going to use one of these services, and that matrix includes such things as what's the channel lineup. For example, I like we actually. Well, I don't know if I like it. We watch this show. I actually hate it, but we watch like the House Hunter shows. HGTV, which is the network that shows those shows, is available on PlayStation View. It is available on Hulu with Live TV. It is not available on YouTube TV for some reason.
So
that's kind of a weird deal.
I canceled my Hulu TV, and for one reason only. Fine, it's cool. You got the Live TV. I hate that new Hulu interface. I absolutely
have not seen it yet.
I hate. It's beautiful but impractical. It's convoluted. It's bizarre. I actually got messaged by one of the designers of YouTube of Hulu TV because I was bitching about it so much. And they're like, "What don't you like about it?" And I go, "Everything. It's beautiful, but it's not. You ruined the functionality of this for aesthetics."
Right.
So I went on this rant, and that was it. But so with Hulu TV though, here's the problem. I have Hulu on my office Apple TV, right? So when I get to work, I watch my wrestling from the night before because I didn't get a chance to watch it. When I turn on the TV, it says you have 5 logins left. And I go, what? That's weird. I've been watching Hulu on this TV forever. If you have Hulu TV, you can't share the account anymore. I can't have it installed on another IP.
Yeah.
And that sucks because you want to watch it everywhere. Well, so it says like, hey, if you want to watch it, you could.
All right, but you have
it.
Okay. So you're lucky that you live in New York because any VPN service will have a New York server and you'll be able to pretend you're at home. So we used PlayStation View when we were away in where were we? In Spain, and it worked, but we had to tell them we were in New York City. Now, PlayStation View, I signed up in Boston, so it would say you can still use the service, but there are certain things you're not going to be able to use because now you're in New York. And actually, it worked pretty good for the most part. I couldn't see sport. Actually, I think I did bring up a Red Sox game. I don't remember anymore. It doesn't matter. But this is one of those little issues. I mean, I didn't sign up for YouTube TV until I got here, and so I'm locked to Philadelphia. None of the VPN services I had ever offered a Philadelphia server, so I'm locked. Like what you're saying is true. Hulu TV, I'll look at it. We'll see what that looks like. But
so my point was with the Hulu TV, I didn't even want to watch live TV. I just wanted to watch like on demand, and it wouldn't let me log in. I couldn't do it, so I canceled it. And guess what? Now everything works. So it is what it is with that.
I'll keep looking at this stuff. It's
keep
interesting.
Looking. Paul, let's wrap it up and let's do our bonus show because I want to talk to you about Europe.
About Europe
as a whole.
That's a broad topic.
Yeah, it's a very well. Jessica in Europe. I want to talk to you about that.
Okay.
Guys, go to our website gfknetwork.com. Subscribe to the podcast. If you're subscribed already, subscribe again. Do it again. Just keep subscribing. It helps us out. Go to Thurrott.com. All things Paul Thurrott. Unbelievable stuff over there. That is my daily. I don't watch the news anymore, but I go to Thurrott.com every morning. That's where I learn about what I'm going to be upset about today.
Wow.
Yeah, Thurrott.com. You can follow me on Twitter at AndrewZarin. You can follow Paul at Thurrott. We'll see you all next time. If you're watching live, guys, stay tuned. We're going to be doing What to Talk. If not, go to patreon.com/whattotech. Fund us there. Every penny counts. So go to patreon.com/whattotech and fund us. See you all next time. Take care.